Alright everyone, we start off today talking about Donald Trump, specifically his CPAC speech. A few things that he threw in there, like, wanting to fight side by side with everyone still against cancel culture, which I support. I think that's a good thing. There's Sahara sand, by the way, in the air right now, so if I clear my throat a couple of times, I don't have any allergies because there's no pine trees in the country, but now, sand is coming from the Sahara Desert of all places and gunking me up a little bit. It's a sad state of affairs. But before we get into this, and as well as the classic Texan style of analyzing Trump speeches without even watching them at first, I did watch it, but you could tell before you even did that, and I'll tell you how you do this. It's a really fun game you can play to astonish your friends and families. You can actually sort of know the trajectory of his speeches just by looking at news results. Anyway, there will be a pinned comment if you're watching on YouTube. In about a week, I will be doing 2 Alt-Tech exclusives a day. So I'm going to be prioritizing Alt-Tech, actually. And I'm going to get back, hopefully, into streaming at some time fairly soon as well. So there's definitely some cool shit to come. But we got to talk about the CPAC keynote speech of Trump. There were some other good speeches there. Ted Cruz is like prowling around like a lion and doing he's trying to set himself up as I'm not Trump, but I'm also a viable candidate. And DeSantis is potentially going to be in. I don't think he's decided yet. But according to polling, DeSantis is actually in second. He's the second choice for a lot of Republicans. I would say you could definitely do worse. I think he would do better than Ted Cruz, or basically the only other person other than Trump that I would prefer over DeSantis, I think, would be Rand Paul. If he runs, he has my automatic support because I consider him the most qualified. The problem is his personality is a little bit fiery, and so he never, like in the last election, gained much traction. I think he stalled out at 6% at one point, and then he quickly went back down. Trump got in and sort of drained any possible wind out of his sails, which is, I think, unfortunate, but, the end result was all right. We stopped Hillary. That was the important part. A lot of anti-Hillary voters. Link in the description, though. And what you do for the Texan game of analyzing Trump speeches is go to the news section, Google, Bing, whatever you're using, an aggregator, and look at what the MSM is saying, because they'll be universally negative. But how divorced from reality is the negative coverage? Like, if you look at it through the lens of the MSM is going to lie about what was said, how big is the lie? How nervous do they appear? As you'll see from this one piece here from the New York Times, I believe it is. Yeah, the New York Times, archived, of course, link in the description. Pretty nervous. Trump wins CPAC straw poll. See, it's bad news for them. Alarm bells are going off. It's like, oh my God, he's going to come back. He's going to be the nominee, and that's going to be bad because he'll be able to say, I told you so about Biden. And that's basically half of his CPAC speech is saying, oh, he's already failed. It's only 30 days in, and he's correct. But only 68% want him to run again now. This should be analyzed very carefully. What do we know about primaries? Because that's what Trump would have to go through. The fact that he's an ex-president puts him in that front-runner position through name recognition, even just in and of itself. What do we know about a primary? There's usually more than 2 people. 68% approving of you running is real goddamn high. It's higher than Biden was at. It's higher than most of the Democrats would have been at. Or any of the Republicans in the field. The thing is, if you've got more than 2 people, it's going to be difficult to break 50, if there's any viability there. But you've got at least 3 mainline viable candidates. You've got Donald Trump, DeSantis, and Ted Cruz. You've also got about a half a dozen other names of people that might run. In such a situation, not only getting more than 50% in the actual straw poll, but having a supermajority of Republicans approving of your run is impressive. This is spinning it as though that's, oh, well, Donald Trump's approval is low within the Republican Party. No, it's actually still in the 90s. They love him. But there are people who think, well, Donald Trump is older, he lost against Biden, they'd be worried about putting him up against him again, but they would solidify behind him, trust me. If he chooses to run, Donald Trump will probably be the nominee. It will probably be difficult to defeat him. That's just the way that it is. DeSantis or Cruz potentially could pull it off, but you saw what he did to Cruz before in 2016. He fucking demolished him. It was very funny. Anytime that you take butter cow selfies, oh yeah, my kids like butter too, and my daughter's first word was butter, I think he claimed, or something like that. Or her first sentence was, I like butter, something like that. He thought this was a viable candidacy, just to be clear. As far as Trump's CPAC speech at large, it ruminated on a broad platform. He attacked Biden mercilessly, for instance, saying that he's anti-woman. That's going to connect with voters. I hate to say it, but Biden made a huge strategic blunder in attempting to erase women. And that is what he did. To be clear, Joe Biden apparently does not believe that women need to be protected. That's fine as a policy if you're pandering after, 0.5% of the vote. It's not so good if your party ostensibly has recognized women's rights and they're championing women's causes. Oh, we want you to be able to get an abortion, but at the same time, you're going to have to admit this other individual to the restroom or to the locker room or to the showers that does not conform to the normal dichotomous gendered ism of those locations, typically. The problem is that most females are not going to like that. This has been something that many feminists have pointed out. And I hate to side with the feminists, ostensibly. TERFs or whatever you'd call it. It's really funny. Politics is already making very bizarre bedfellows at this point. Another big thing is immigration. Now, that problem, unfortunately, while it's a major problem, the MSM keeps shielding Biden. So it hasn't metastasized into a major public policy debate yet because people are too busy talking about something else, which is COVID. Donald Trump coming out and saying, get the vaccine, undercutting, the Democrats' message that he's anti-science or whatever. Very, very funny because, of course, at the time that Biden got the vaccine, Trump was the president. Keeping this in mind, he can grandstand on that issue. He then complains about all of the good things that they've done that Biden has torn apart through imperialistic executive action. It was a solid speech. It was Trump being the best he could be, which is, you've got to have the balance between angry troll Trump and solemn Trump. And that's what you got here. Mostly teleprompted, partially off the cuff at certain energetic points, and the crowd went wild. Obviously, they want him to be the nominee. Do I think it'd be a good idea if he runs again? Yeah, I honestly do. I think that he could win. Because the thing is that Biden's going to have several years to make a goddamn fool of himself. We already know how he's going to govern. Trump knows this too. That's why he sits there smirking the whole time. He knows that Biden's going to implode. His push-pull high approval is bullshit number one and is going to decline after the sweetheart period anyway. This happens to every president. Trump being the only modern president, by the way, that never really got a sweetheart period because of a wall of nonstop 24/7 propaganda. Trump doesn't give a shit, though. Another important thing is that he's showing the actual face of unity, at least insofar as party politics goes. Biden is sitting there trying to fight off the far left on minimum wage and on stimulus and stuff, trying to fight off other neolibs that are, right now even Tim Kaine questioning about Syria strikes and looking a hypocrite ass when he doesn't. He's having that problem. He's not the face of unity. Trump is saying, well, I'm not going to start a new party. We've got the GOP. We're not going to split the party. That's a unity message. Everything that Trump said and everything that Trump did for 4 years, in contrast with Biden. People are already getting Biden buyer's remorse, including people who are infamously on the left. Cenk calling him out, oh my God, well, we knew that he was, not going to accomplish, he's not a leftist or anything, but my God, he's already bombing Syria. That one feminist chick who's saying that he's bringing in American authoritarianism, I can't remember, Naomi something or other. She's correct. She's not wrong. She's crucified by the blue MAGA sorts. It's funny because they want to make America great again, too. Trump was president long enough to inject into their minds the necessity of doing that. It's just that the manner by which they want to do that is bombing people. It's going to go over real well, by the way, with millennial voters. Between pissing off millennials with warmongering and pissing off female voters with cancel culture, I don't see how Biden really has a path forward. He's going to be fucking almost 80 years old anyway. And Trump, several times invoking his incoherency and his inability to get his point across. He's like, well, it didn't look like he knew what he was talking about. Nobody knows what he's saying anyway. I thought it was hilarious. This is Trump at his best. This is his A game. And if he takes this forward for the next couple of years, put him in charge of the party. If the Republicans don't want him to run again, the best thing they could do is make him head of the RNC. Wouldn't that be funny? It'd be a step up from rinsed penis over there. That's about all. Peace out.